Show. We've been speaking all Manchester United in part one. Let's talk Premier League champions Liverpool now. Could they be about to break the British transfer record? Mark, Florian Wirtz and Liverpool, where do we stand?
Yeah, this could be a huge deal, not just for Liverpool, but for the Premier League. It would be a record deal. We're just waiting for developments on this one. However, we understand that Liverpool's offer of £105 million is being considered by Leverkusen at the moment. That's around €130 million. We know that Leverkusen wanted €150 million for someone who Hansi Flick has described as the full package. So at the minute, Liverpool just in a holding pattern, waiting for some communication to say, actually, this is a deal that we're happy with and we're prepared to accept. Or they could say, actually, no, that's going to be rejected. Some sources have said that this is actually Liverpool's second offer for the player at the moment. I think the key thing with regards to all of this is the fact that the player made the right noises to the Liverpool hierarchy to suggest he was keen on not just the Premier League, but joining the Premier League champions. There's no question, when you speak to anyone that's been watching German football over the last 12 months or so, they speak glowingly about him, what he brings to the game and the type of player he potentially could be in the Premier League. Let's take a look at some of the stats then, because he has been, without question, the standout player in the Bundesliga. He offers so much in terms of his creativity and his ability on the ball. Hansi Flick described him as an outstanding technician. And you can see from these open play assists, ranks first in the German top flight. Open play, XA 8.9, second again. Big chances created, second. Final third passes completed, third 652. Take-ons there, take-ons completed. You get the flavour. He's a player that can offer so much in that final third. And he's got an incredible football brain as well. And that's exactly why Liverpool will be looking at him. They've lost a player who's a creative player in Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're not going to replace him with someone who plays at right back that can deliver those kind of numbers in terms of assists. But they can replace him with someone who can play as an 8, as a 10, right in there and just create things. And that's exactly what perhaps Liverpool lacked last season to an extent. And this type of play, if they could get this deal over the line, would bring all of that and more.
Carve looked a bit puzzled there behind that graphic when you said XA. I'm reliably informed it's expected assists.
OK, just so you know, I said it, but I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah. so his expected assists is actually less than his actual open play assists, which...
Who works that? Who?
Mark was doing it earlier.
Yeah.
No, listen, Carve, £105 million to £109 million, depending on what report you believe, is what the second bid is from Liverpool. It could go higher if Bayer Leverkusen reject it. Does it feel inevitable, though, that Florian Wirtz will become a Liverpool player?
You know, if I was a Liverpool supporter, I would be thinking this is good news that the offer hasn't been rejected, because you know how transfers work. If Bayer Leverkusen were not going to entertain an offer at the level of £105 million, we would have heard about it on Friday. Yet here we are 2 days later, and there's been no update from either club about whether that offer has been accepted or rejected. So I think the direction of travel is that he's going to become a Liverpool player. And I think it is fantastic news for Liverpool that a player as good as Florian Wirtz is turning down Bayern Munich. How many German players, especially at his age, 21, 22, say no to Bayern Munich? Also turn down the opportunity possibly to play for Manchester City, although City, I think, would say that, no, we walked away from the deal because when you added up the transfer fee and the wages, you were looking at an investment of almost £200 million, so that's why we're not getting him. But still, it is incredible that he has decided, although he had reservations to begin with about leaving Germany because he wanted to stay at Leverkusen or move to Bayern Munich, he's changed his mind. He wants to go to Liverpool. The only reservation I would have about this, and I'm not an expert in German football, I see some of it on TV, but I haven't been to a Bundesliga game for a few years. The only reservation I would have is, speaking to our colleagues at Sky Germany, they would say, from our point of view, we think it would have made more sense for him to go to Bayern Munich first, 3, 4, 5 years, and then move to Liverpool, because he needs to develop physically. Maybe he's not ready physically yet for the Premier League. Having said that, maybe our colleagues at Sky Germany are just a little bit bitter that he's turned down Bayern Munich, because they're not used to anybody turning down Bayern Munich. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'm pretty sure next time I see him play after he's played for Germany will be in a Liverpool shirt.
Mark, Carve says the direction of travel for Florian Wirtz is Bayer Leverkusen to Liverpool. Is the direction of travel for Milos Kerkez Bournemouth to Liverpool?
You put me on the spot there. Yeah, it's a transfer that's been spoken about for what feels like weeks and months. But there has been no club-to-club communication as of yet, despite what's been said from other outlets and on social media and things. I think this week could be a big week, though. I get the feeling that this week there will be movements made. Obviously, Liverpool fans were so frustrated throughout the course of last summer because they did very little transfer activity. But I guess Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes had a big burning hole in their pocket with the money they didn't spend last summer, and hence why they're now able to come to the transfer table and go to town and go and get the best players in European football, go and activate release clauses, go and strengthen in every single position that they want to. Milos Kerkez is a key player for Bournemouth. Started 38 Premier League games out of 38 last season. It's been a huge part of their record-breaking season. You know, most wins, most points, most goals, best defence. He's been a huge part of that. But the noises would suggest that there is interest from Liverpool and that potentially something could happen. I think the key thing to note is that no official contact, no official bid, and at the moment, Milos Kerkez is very much a Bournemouth player. They've already sold Dean Howson. They're in no position where they have to sell anyone. But I do think this could be a key week or so.
Yeah, key week, says Mark McAdam. So Milos Kerkez could be on his way to Liverpool. Florian Wirtz could be on his way to Liverpool. But one man who's already signed for Liverpool from Bayer Leverkusen is their right-sided forward player, Jeremy Frimpong.
I think it went quite easy, you know. Obviously, Liverpool came and they said they had interest. And obviously, for me, it was a no-brainer, you know. For me, it was like, whatever you guys do, just get this done. You know, my agents, you know, just get this done. The Liverpool fans, I'm going to give my all, my energy, my work rate, and hopefully we can win together, we celebrate together, we do everything together.
Carve, June the 1st, and we're already talking about the Premier League champions potentially spending close to £200 million to strengthen a championship-winning squad. Is it looking ominous, you think, for the rest of the league?
I mean, I'd be a little bit worried if I was one of their rivals. I mean, having said that, even if they spent £200 million this summer, they didn't spend very much money last summer. They signed Chiesa and they signed Mamardashvili, the Georgian goalkeeper who stayed out on loan. So they've got a little bit of extra money from last summer and January to spend. But I think Frimpong will turn out to be a really good signing for them because he's so versatile. Shouldn't look at him as a ready-made replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold because he can play as a wing-back, right side of midfield, further forward on the right-hand side of their forward line as well. And don't forget that it's the African Cup of Nations this January. And it's likely that Mohamed Salah is going to be away at that tournament in Morocco with Egypt. So around that time, he could really come into his own. And also, I think it gives Arne Slot more tactical flexibility, different ways of playing, and it increases competition for places as well. I think the one position, if I was a Liverpool supporter, I would really want looking at, though, is the striker, the number 9, out-and-out player who can get 20, 30 goals. And there's likely to be some changes in that position as well. Will Liverpool be able to get one of their top targets in that position? I think if they manage to do that, then I would be really, really worried if I was one of their rivals.
So one definitely in, 2 potentially coming in, and Carve's talking about a striker. Could they recruit in that position as well? But Mark, one on his way out potentially.
Yeah, this was agreed this afternoon from our sources here at Sky Sports News. Caoimhin Kelleher, the goalkeeper who's featured at times over the course of this season. It feels like he's been a big part of what Liverpool have done over the last few years, despite not being their number one obviously behind Alisson. We know that the deal has been agreed between Liverpool and Brentford, which is an initial £12.5 million that potentially could rise to 18 million. We're expecting Kelleher to have his medical tomorrow for Brentford. And I think the key thing here was the desire for him to be a number one. He said, look, I've played my role in Liverpool over the last few years. Now it's time for me to be the main man, have the jersey and start week in, week out. The knock-on effect to that will be Mark Flecken going to Leverkusen for £11 million, which would represent brilliant business by Brentford, who are really shrewd in the market. They have this data model that they operate with. They've got good people there that do some good business. And to get 11 million for a 32-year-old, who they paid 1.5 million for, would be seen as exceptional business.
Talking about exceptional business,
Ya saltan 1K y el Barrio. Es determinante cuánto daño puede hacer el conjunto de 1K, sobre todo con Granero en esas primeras de cambio en la salida de escalera. Así que esa parte del partido va a ser absolutamente clave para el equipo de Iker Casillas. Por cierto, felicitar porque ha venido una buena afición de 1K.
Tiene la pelota, Gerard Noya encara, sigue Noya, Noya dispara, Arnalot.
80 paradas.
Ya para Arnalot. Gil Vidal ataca desde la derecha el número 9. Gil Vidal con el centro, buena pelota, Arché, con la rodilla le pegó. Pues es el que desatasca un poco el partido, ¿no? Con centros, ojo ahí, se golpeó, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Marc Valiente! ¡Gol! Del Barrio, marca Marc Valiente. Esa banda izquierda que es terreno de los cañonazos de Granero, a la que tengo un mínimo de espacio, le pega Granero. Bueno, pues es decirlo, y ahí lo tenemos. El tema es que el remate le ha salido centrado. Abraham, buena pelota, banda derecha. Vamos a ver qué hace ahí Fran Rodríguez. Se mete en el área, sigue Fran. ¡Qué bien, Fran! Se va de dos, el remate, ¡fuera!
¡Chicos!
A ver si acierta. ¡Claro que
Mira
sí!
que
Busca el Barrio el segundo gol. Arché. Arché para Gil. Gil que le puede pegar a este Gil. Buen recorte. Gil al palo. Le manda Arché.
¡Dios! ¡No! Madre mía, qué parada. Y a centímetros del remate, ¿eh?
No, la reacción ha sido impresionante. El disparo. ¡Madre de Dios! ¡Otro que vuela! ¡Otro más! Que está la pelota para John de la Cruz, la quiere levantar, vuelve a pegar la pelota en el cuerpo de un jugador del Barrio, el remate con la puntera y acaba deteniendo al Gerard Vacas. Será córner favorable a 1K. Bueno, a ver.
Gol doble.
Gol doble. A ver, saque de banda. Balón puesto en movimiento, intentaba rematar Marc Valiente, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Baufer! ¡Gol!
Y es
penalti
¡madre
normal.
mía lo de los penaltis!
Penalti normal. Y el que quiere hacer el 0-3 es el número 4, pega Valiente. ¡Vaya cañón! ¡Gol! Ahí están Arnalot y Vacas como candidatos, como guardametas, y también Marc Valiente y Pau Ferojo la recuperación. Tira la pelota al Barrio que puede sentenciar el remate. ¡Gol!
Knockout.
¡Gol!
Ponme el 5.
El cambio del partido ha sido radical en los últimos 10 minutos. El balón que lo tiene. ¡Ojo!
¡Ay! Jaimitada.
Marca de nuevo el Barrio, gol de Fran Fuentes. El equipo de Juan Arroita, que no ganaba un encuentro con esta tranquilidad, entre comillas, al final, con un margen tan amplio, con 2 goles dobles que han hecho pasar el partido del 0-3 al 0-7.
Paufer, ha costado, pero por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan deseada con goleada.
Ha costado mucho, pero bueno, le damos emoción hasta el momento final, recta final, y ahora, pase lo que pase con Pío, nos lo jugaremos contra ellos.
Eso te iba a decir, pase lo que pase con Pío, la semana que viene, o ellos, o tú, o tu ex equipo, o tú.
Bueno, o el Barrio o ellos, pero sí. La vida, yo qué sé, no sé, son cosas muy raras que suceden, pero ahí estaremos. Ahora estoy en el Barrio, así que espero que gane el Barrio.
Enhorabuena y a disfrutarlo.
Gracias.